Okay, let me take a step back, make sure the camera is actually working. You guys can see me and my tea latte I have going on here. Hi guys, welcome back to the Lynn channel where we talk about cosplay convention life. It is now January of 2025. I cannot believe it is a whole new year, but thank God it is, because holy crap, was 2024 a bad year for me. And if you guys are watching this video, you've probably clicked on it because of the title. You know we're going to talk about my past year. And really what I wanted this video to be, because I've done it like a few times in the past, I wanted it to be a recording and a journal of all the fun, amazing stuff that I got to do and the projects I got to make and all the cool things. But really what it ended up being was a year of trying to literally survive with little pockets of happiness and interesting fun projects in between. So overall, 2024 was not a good year for me, and that's okay. I'm not going to gloss over that. I'm not going to pretend. And I'm not going to do the thing that I really hate that influencers do, where they just try to pretend bad stuff never happens. It's okay to have a crap year sometimes. It's okay to have a year where you don't do the goals. You don't get the stuff done. In fact, sometimes you end up really miserable because it's going to be a new day. It's going to be a new year. Things are going to get better. I'm trying to stay very optimistic. And I have a couple upcoming events to look forward to, like Emerald City Comic Con in March, Sakura Con in April, and then whatever I decide to do in the summer. And I've actually finished all my projects for them now, so now it is just time to style some wigs and wait. The best part. There's someone driving very loudly outside. So anyways, let me address this first. First off, I'm using a new camera. I'm sorry if it keeps trying to autofocus. Maybe I need to like stay more still or something. I don't know. Microphone, also new camera. This is just a test. Who knows if I'll keep it. I'm not a professional like videographer, so I'm not very great at this. I just want you guys to see me. Other thing is, I have taken a lot of notes right here. So if you guys see me looking down, it's because my camera's up here, like you guys are up here. My notes are down here. I swear I'm not avoiding contact. I am still here. I just had to get my thoughts recollected, and so much happened over this year that I really had to break it up by what happened and when. So let's talk about 2024, what I'm going to call the really bad year. So this past year, it was kind of funny because nothing happened until really I went to Sakura Con in April. So the first 4 months of 2024 were me getting Cornelia from Witch finished up, which was a really fun project. Getting Holo ready to wear again from Spice and Wolf. Me and my husband went as Holo and Lawrence. And I wore Sarah on Sunday of SakuraCon. So Sarah from Labyrinth, I should let you guys know. It was a really good SakuraCon this past year, except for the actual organization of the event sucked butts. I did an entire video where I reviewed SakuraCon 2024 and like all my thoughts about it. Guys, this year, 2025, better be a redemption, because last year I was very dissatisfied with the level of organization they had going on and the main hall events just being kind of a disaster. I don't know what was happening. I have been there many, many years. It is, let's see, the first time I went to SakuraCon, I was 15. I'm now 32, so it has been a really long time. I have a high expectation because I've had really great years in the past. I don't know what's happening. I don't know if it's trading of hands, people who are in charge of it. Go watch the other video. I talk about more about this. So the first 4 months of 2024 were just kind of like cleaning my costumes, steaming them, getting my wigs ready to wear, and just kind of taking it slow, which here in Washington State, it is cold, it is rainy, and sometimes we get snow around this time of year. So there's not like a whole lot to do otherwise. I like to go to the Home and Garden Show in Seattle. That's always really fun to do. Sometimes there's like a chocolate festival. Sometimes we'll go to like Chinese New Year in the International District in February. There's like little things, but nothing big that I do that's cosplay wise in like the first quarter of the year. So in April, SakuraCon happened, and it was really fun because me and my husband stayed at the Sheraton like old times. I dressed as Cornelia from Witch, the old, early 2000s show from when I was a kid. And one of my goals this past year was to do more characters that I actually really loved still, that were from more nostalgic shows and movies and animes. So I wasn't saving them for bucket list projects. I was like, today's the day, let's get it done. Her costume was really fun to make because I took inspiration from ice skating outfits and from people that do like dance routines and gymnastics. And I got to add a lot of like sparkles and little flares and rhinestones in that I don't normally add to costumes. I don't do like a whole lot of bling, but I thought, it's like an early 90s or a early 2000s outfit. It's based on a kid show and she's kind of a magical girl. So like, let's go all out. Let's make it sparkly and fun. And I had so many great interactions at con with people. It totally made it worthwhile. Like I've said before, the more that you love the character that you dress up as, the better interactions you'll have because they're more like authentic and real and they just feel much more special, especially if you go as an obscure character. The people who connect with you, they watch the show too and you're like, oh my god, it's another fan. It's someone else who was like also a little girl like me. Holo and Lawrence was also really fun to go as from Spice and Wolf because they had just announced that month that they were going to be re-releasing Spice and Wolf as a new remade anime, so everyone was really hyped up about it. It's my husband's favorite anime and manga of like all time. He has every figurine, every merch item you can possibly think of from Japan. And so we were really hyped for the new show, but it also got people talking. Whenever there's a reboot of an anime or a manga or something, every convention is kind of like swarmed suddenly with fans of it who remember it, and a lot of them want to pay tribute to something that they really love. The other thing was Yen Press, the booth that does, they're kind of like the, oh my gosh, I'm trying to think, like they are a distributor of manga, and they had a big booth at con where they sell like brand new manga books and popular selling ones that you can go buy there. We went to the booth to buy some books, and they had a huge sign up for Spice and Wolf being released. They're re-releasing the manga in contribution to the show coming out, and we got a picture of us in front of it. And what's even more fun is one of the workers there came up and asked to take our picture, and they posted it on their Instagram page. So like, I don't do really any cosplay stuff where I'm like out in the limelight ever. I've done one online competition. I've had one magazine submission. So this was like kind of a big thing for me. I sent my husband the link and I'm like, did you see we made it on their Instagram page, like the official Yen Press Instagram. So that was really cool. But like I said, organization of con was not great this year. I missed out on the cosplay competition, and I missed out on a couple other things I wanted to go to, and I was like, dude, tickets are getting more and more expensive every year, and I feel like I'm getting to do less and less. However, with the new building not being super new, we were able to get around a little bit better, a little faster, and we did not get worn out. So like the first year or so, when they were including the second building, I noticed we got so worn out by day 2 because we were walking way more than normal. And so this time I was a lot smarter about it, and I was kind of like, okay, let's break it up and go have a meal somewhere, or take more breaks, or go back to the hotel room and actually sit down. I'm really glad I did that. So let's move on to the rest of the year. So in May and June, my back was not doing very well. And for those of you guys out there, so pretty much everyone, I had a back injury in 2018 where I herniated my spine after a fun weekend vacation over in Eastern Washington, where I was kayaking and swimming and just like having a really fun time. I came home and had an emergency situation where I ended up in the hospital, and it was because I had herniated my spine. I had some injections done, some steroid injections, and I was back on my feet and doing much better. But since then, I have moments where my back gets kind of like irritated and sore, and I gotta like ice it or take ibuprofen, take it slow. So this past year, I was kind of having on and off again back pain, but by May and June, it was like pretty significant. I actually stopped being able to even work out more than just walking because everything was irritating it. And I was starting to get really nervous about what was actually happening like internally in me. So for any of you guys out there who have had an injury, it really sucks when you start to feel the same pain because your mind immediately starts to get anxious about if the old problem is coming back or if it's something worse. So let the ambulance go by. In July, my back was doing so bad that I actually went to see a spine specialist. And when I was dealing with all this back stuff, I was really just trying to stay like super optimistic, positive. And so with that, I went to Joann's and this is so funny, you guys. I ended up starting a cosplay costume because I went to Joann's and I saw fabric on sale and I was like, oh my God, I should just buy it now. Literally no plan, no pattern, nothing. I like went and bought all this stuff with just a twinkle in my eye of what I wanted to make. So for a long time, I have wanted to make Princess Odette from The Swan Princess, which was a 1994 kids movie. It's very near and dear to my heart. This movie, literally, like, I have memorized every line out of it. I own all 3 on DVD. I have watched it 10 million times as a kid, as a teenager, as an adult. I still love it. I still watch it and I listen to the music because it is hilarious and it's so fun. So I bought the supplies, brought them home and went, you know what, I should probably make a pattern. And so I did the entire pattern by myself at home on my dress form and by just looking up instructions online. I didn't buy a pattern. I didn't use anything else. I just decided to just like do it all just on my own, I guess. This is the kind of cosplayer I really am. I don't like instructions. I don't like patterns that I have to follow. I don't want to do things whatever. I want to do it all by figuring it out on my own. Even if that means looking up 10,000 YouTube tutorials about how different people did different things and writing down all the notes and then combining it into this weird Frankenstein sort of creation. It's just how I work best. But I created the top of it. I started to create the sleeves and then it sat in my room for many, many, many months. And I will talk about this soon. So, around July, I also started to realize that I wanted to go to the Renaissance Fair in Washington in August, so you have to buy passes pretty early if you want to go for a weekend because they get sold out. And with that, I was like, you know what, I really want to wear a fairy outfit, but I don't really have anything that goes with like the fairy, fae sort of elements. So I started looking around online, and there is a brand / company that I really love. They're called Mermaid Lucia. And they specialize in actually mermaid wear, but also kind of like ethereal, kind of fantasy, fantastical sort of wear. What they specialize in specifically are acrylic made tops or rubber made tops that are just like hand sculpted, beautiful colors, beautiful patterns, rhinestones, jewels, chains, and they are very, very expensive. I have always wanted to get one, and finally, in July, I pulled the plug and I bought one, and it was really expensive. Like, even clicking purchase, I was like, oh my gosh, this is probably the most amount of money I've spent on like a single item for a costume. But I was really excited to wear it, especially because in Washington State, August is like the only time where it's hot enough to wear fantasy clothing without being freezing cold. So in August, we went to the Renaissance Fair in Washington, and it was in kind of a newer area, more in like the Snohomish, Duval sort of area for those of you guys who live here or have gone to it. The fairgrounds are so much fun. There's like food, there's entertainment, there's horseback archers, there's bards walking around doing music, there's live music, there's like an entire bar there. It's really fun to go to, and it was a super hot day, and I was so glad that I wore the outfit I did, which was barely anything. It was like a ruffly fairy skirt and then my Mermaid Lucia top, which was just the front, and the back was all just chains and like lacing going on because it was a really, really hot day. But it was really fun. I had a great time. I love going to the Renaissance Fair. I love watching like the jousting tournaments. I love watching anything that's like live, that's entertaining. I'm usually super into. So when August rolled around, my spine doctor referred me to go get some imaging done of my back because it was really not good. Like, I was pretty much in pain almost every single day. I knew something was wrong with my back, and unfortunately, I got some imaging done, and what came back was that I had actually re-herniated my spine. For those of you that don't know, if you herniate your spine, a lot of times it will just heal on its own. So like the first step to do is just literally ice and rest and not picking up things, not bending, not twisting, nothing. Like try to keep it easy, let your body heal it, give it a few weeks. At this point, it had been months and it was not healing on its own, which is not good. So my doctor recommended I go back in for another spinal injection, which had worked the first time, 6 years ago. So I go in, I get this spine injection done, and it does not work at all. And at this point, I have been on steroids, oral steroids, trying to help heal myself. So what's kind of bad about those is that while you're taking them, your injury feels really great. And then when you stop, it just goes back to feeling really bad if it's not actually healing. So I was just like physically not doing well. I'm dragging my feet at this point. I can't work out. I can't do all the fun physical activities that during the summer that I would normally do, like go out boating and swimming and inner tubing and hiking, and like everything was on hiatus. I think I went to the lake maybe once this past year, and even then my back was really not doing great. So it was just, it was a huge mess. So in September, this is when my previous video where I gave you guys my review of going to like that fantasy ball and kind of like how it was a scam. Please watch that video. I think it's very good information. But September is when I bought tickets to go to that fantasy ball, and I bought a ball gown. And what sucks is that my back was hurting so bad at this point that like I was scared to wear the ball gown because I thought maybe the weight like of it hanging on me would irritate my back more. And I was also scared to dance. Guys, no one ever wants to be so injured that they're afraid to dance and have fun because it might hurt them worse. It really sucked. So we went to the fantasy ball, which was a total money scam. And at this point, I have already not been having a great year. Like I'm hurting all the time. I can't do the stuff that I love to do. I was hoping the fantasy ball was going to be like this really cool special moment, and it really wasn't. It was kind of a big letdown. And so, you know, when the stars just start aligning for the perfect storm, that's kind of what was going on. Early in October, this is where my story kind of takes a turn for the worse. Just gonna warn you guys, it's not good. In early October, I woke up one morning and I was like, man, my back hurts way worse than normal, like way, way worse. And I did what I always do, which is literally just ice it, take ibuprofen, take Tylenol, try to rest, that's it. And 2 days later, I wake up and I am in like the worst pain I've ever been in. I realized it was a day off that I had from work, and I was getting into the car to go drive my husband to work. Thought, you know, I'll go grocery shopping that morning, I'll get a coffee, I'll take it easy. I was in so much pain, I couldn't even get into the car. Like I couldn't lower myself down into the car without like being in extreme pain. And I remember that morning looking at my husband and being like, I need to go to the ER right now. Something's really, really wrong with my back. So I go to the ER and they take imaging of my back, and they see that not only did the hernia not go away, it is now significantly worse, and it is totally compressing my nerve on my left side of my body, which is why I'm not able to walk. I'm not able to like stand up all the way. I'm exhausted. I'm in so much pain. So what they did is they gave me medicine, they gave me painkillers, they sent me home, and they sent me a referral to go see a surgeon. So there I am, all of October. So this was what, like the last week of September, first week of October. So for 3 or 4 weeks, I laid on my couch at home, taking painkillers and icing my back, and pretty much just holding out to see a surgeon. The minute that I saw the surgeon's like, okay, this is really bad. We need to get you in for surgery to actually remove the hernia. And so I went from, I think it was like a Tuesday or a Wednesday, to now having surgery scheduled like the next week. And my surgery was actually, it's called a microdiscectomy. It's where they go in, they actually remove the hernia from my spine so it'll stop pressing on my nerve, and then therefore I'll be able to like walk again and not be in extreme pain. It is an in and out procedure, so you don't even stay a night in the hospital. You check in the morning, you get it done. It's less than 45 minutes. You recover for a few hours and then they send you home. So it's supposed to be like a very simple procedure. I was very, very nervous, but I was also exhausted and I was desperate at this point. I had never had surgery or been under anesthesia in my entire life. I've never broken a bone. I've never really been injured beyond like my original hernia in 2018. But I had spent 3 or 4 weeks literally on my couch, not able to walk, in extreme pain. So at this point I was like, I don't even care. Just get me to whatever I need to do next. So the week before Halloween, I had my microdiscectomy. Everything went great. I am so thankful that we had switched hospital providers and doctors like last year, because the care that I was receiving at my last doctors and specialists, I did not like at all. And my new doctors and specialists, like, I have a lot of anxiety. I'm one of those people where I get really overwhelmed and I cry because I'm scared, because I'm nervous, because I don't want to have to do what I have to do. And the day of surgery, everyone was so patient, so calm, so understanding, and so helpful. I could not have asked for a better team. From the doctors giving me anti-anxiety medication the minute I checked in, to the nurses spending extra time with me, holding my hand, like walking me through everything that was going to happen, like being with me every step of the way. I never felt scared. I never felt left alone. Like, I was anxious and I was really freaked out that I had to go into surgery, but I never felt like, you know, I didn't feel lonely about it. I felt like, okay, the care team's here. They're laughing with me. They're joking with me. They're explaining what's happening. Like, just, it felt like very, very good care. So I do know good care exists out there. So after the microdiscectomy, I went home. I slept the rest of the day. I woke up that night. I ate food. Everything's good. And I'm starting to be like, wow, the entire pain in my leg is completely gone, which I had lived with for 4 weeks at this point. I was like amazed. I was amazed that such a small procedure could completely rid me of my pain. So the next 2 weeks I just spent at home, working from home, trying to recover, icing my back, and the biggest thing being walking. Just walking a little bit every single day and trying to really like gain my strength back. They want you walking so it gets a lot of blood flow to your spine and to your legs and all the places that have to heal. And you want your nerve to get like a lot of nutrients and blood flow to it, because mine had been compressed so long. So around Halloween, I finally was able to actually walk into town. I couldn't wear a Halloween costume, which I was really sad about. So I got snow leopard pajamas and like a fuzzy hat, and I literally just did like some snow leopard makeup on my face. And my husband, we dressed him up as a fox in like a fox onesie, and we just walked around. I couldn't walk that far. I think maybe we walked a mile and then we walked, back home. But it was just fun to like see trick-or-treaters and stuff. Around that time of year, like Halloween is my favorite time of year. I love decorating. I love dressing up. I love going to Halloween parties, and I didn't really get to do any of that this year, so it was sad. I just tried to do what I could. Around the holidays, around like Thanksgiving and Christmas, I started to feel a lot better. I had actually signed up to do the Turkey Trot in town, which is this 5K that raises money for the food bank. And usually we do costumes and everything for it, but unfortunately, my husband got sick the week of it, so I ended up having to do it alone. And we were going to go as Greg and Wart from Over the Garden Wall. I was so excited, but he was sick. I didn't want to go as him all alone. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna wear some walking clothes. And again, it's post-surgery. I can't run, so I walked the whole thing, but I walked a 5K, so woohoo, that was awesome. Around the holidays, I also started to feel a lot like I was healing. I was kind of getting back to normal. And unfortunately for me, I'm really like impatient. I don't like sitting on my couch just watching TV or watching cartoons. I do a little bit of it every week, but like I can't sit there for hours and hours day after day doing it. I start to get really crazy restless. I'm a huge walker. I like to work out. I like to be outside. I like to go to events. I'm very extroverted. So it was it was a hard time for me because I was trying to take it slow and let my body heal. But at the same time, I was like, but I want to put up Christmas decorations. I want to go walk to the store. I want to go to all these cool, fun holiday events. So it was like a pull. I didn't know. I was trying to take it slow, but I think I overdid it. And then the second week of December, unfortunately, I got a very, very bad cold. And I was pretty much home in bed for like 2 days, but man, the coughing, I could not stop coughing and sneezing. And I was coughing so bad that like every time I coughed, pretty much I was feeling some sharp pains down my leg because it was like compressing my nerve with every cough, which is normal. Like there's going to be ups and downs after you heal from back surgery. You might have like a little pain one day and then the next day be fine. And then next week a little more pain and then the next week after that fine. So it's kind of understandable. And I knew with the coughing, I was really like irritating like my abs and my back and just everything that was like my core. So the day of Christmas, I woke up and we were going to have some family members over, just like 2 people, make dinner, watch a movie, play games. And the day of Christmas, I was like, man, my back feels so irritated today. I remember waking up and instantly like taking ibuprofen, putting ice in the back of my pants, like an ice pack. But I was just not feeling good at all. And by Christmas night, I realized going into bed, I could not get in a comfortable position. I was in a lot of pain. I was like severely uncomfortable. I tried to like put pillows under my legs to the side of me, trying to sleep on my side, trying to sleep on my back, trying to sleep on my stomach. Like nothing was working. I was in really bad pain. And then the morning of the day after Christmas, I hadn't slept all night. I tried to get up from bed and I was like, oh my God, I can't walk again. Something's wrong. So the day after Christmas, I'm on my way back to the ER. And at the ER, they took images and unfortunately for me, my surgery had failed and I had re-herniated my spine. Now, when this happens the second time, they consider it to be like an urgent emergency. So the next day, I was actually admitted into the hospital. So this is 2 days after Christmas. I'm admitted into the hospital in the morning. And by that day at 1 o'clock, I was back in surgery again for them to fix it, to remove the second hernia. What they told me is that there is a very, very tiny % chance this would ever happen. It's like less than 10%. And to actually even need surgery again is even smaller of a %. So I literally fell into like the worst category of patients. This is very uncommon, but it can happen. So there I am. It's like 2 days post-Christmas, calling into my work to let them know I'm going to have to work from home for the next few weeks because guess what? I have to go back into surgery again and re-heal again. And what even sucks even worse is that I was like just barely out of the ring of danger. So they call like the first 6 to 8 weeks, like you have to be really, really careful with your movements, like no bending, no lifting, no twisting, because you don't want to stress out that area and maybe cause another re-herniation. Guys, it was awful. At that point, I had just kind of given up. I was like, please just help me. I'm in pain again. I don't know what's happening. I'm scared. But again, I had a really amazing surgical team and I had a really amazing surgeon. My original surgeon was actually on vacation, so I ended up seeing one of his colleagues instead. But again, surgery went really fast. I was out of the hospital that night. I went home. This time, I actually knew what to expect, like needing help getting up and down a little bit, how easy it would be to walk, how long, like how many days about it would take before I started to feel comfortable again. So in that regard, like mentally, it was a little better than the first time, but physically, it was just like my body was exhausted. Having to go under anesthesia in like less than 2 months, like twice, that's a lot. Having to be on like heavy medications and things like that, just guys, it really sucks. It really, really sucks. And for those of you guys out there who have dealt with like severe medical problems, I am so sorry. It takes a mental toll on you so much more. Like, I have found white hairs on my head this past year and I get why. I'm like, dude, hair. I haven't dyed my hair in a long time. Whenever I find a white hair, I'm surprised I don't find more. But here I am. We're about 3 weeks out from surgery. I'm taking it slow. I am being extra, extra cautious this time. And more importantly, I'm trying to stay optimistic. At week 2, I was like, you know what? I had this one day where I was like, I'm going to finish Odette from Swan Princess today. That cosplay has been sitting on my dress form, literally just mocking me every day. Like every time I would see it, it was causing me emotional and mental turmoil because I wanted to finish it so bad, but physically I couldn't like be cutting fabric and bending over and stuff. So this time I did everything on my standing desk. I sewed it while standing, cut it while standing, everything. I was like, I want to go into this new year. I want to finish something, just anything. I want something to show me that I can't give up. I have to keep going. So yeah, it was not a great year. I'm hoping for a better healing year. Like the forefront of my mind this entire upcoming year is just health. Cosplay is still there, but it's floating on in the back right now. I need to focus on my physical health so much more. So much more. So anyways, thank you guys for coming to watch this video. I know it wasn't like super great or exciting. I did do some fun stuff this past year and some cosplay stuff, but I really wish I had physically felt better. So yeah, if you can wish for anything for me, please wish for healing and please wish for steady, good recovery this time. So that's pretty much it. And I hope your guys' year went better than mine, but who knows? So with that being said, I'm going to end today's video, and also I will come back on because I have a lot of new opinion videos to do with cosplay and a lot of other videos that I'm excited to talk to you guys about. So anyways, bye guys, have a good night and Happy New Year!